There's a lot of news going on with the Judgment Day, so we'll see what's going on there. We'll also check out some rumors with Rhea Ripley, the Bloodline, and more. Let's start things off with everything related to the Judgment Day. A lot of fans had some doubts about the Judgment Day when they first started as a group, and those doubts got even deeper once Edge was removed from the group. Fans just assumed that the group wouldn't go on for long, considering how fast they lost their original leader. But surprisingly enough to everyone, the group succeeded, and even thrived outside of Edge's leadership. Fast forward 1 year later, after the group's initial creation, and they're now a centerpiece for Monday Night Raw. The latest reports for the Judgment Day claims that WWE is very high on the entire group, and has been loving all their recent work on Raw. So all 4 members are pleasing everyone internally right now with their amazing work. So what are the faction members up to right now? Well, Rhea Ripley has been World Women's Champion since WrestleMania 39. She's going on 3 months as champion, but there is some fan criticism out there about the title reign and how they're just expecting a bit more from Rhea's title reign. And that's a bit of criticism that's understandable because there hasn't been that many title defenses since Rhea won the title. She defeated Zelina Vega at Puerto Rico during WWE Backlash, and that was a nice start to her title reign, taking down the big hometown hero. But then Rhea Ripley started up this program with Natalya that really has fans scratching their heads and wondering what's that about. Rhea squashed Natalya in just a few seconds at Night of Champions. And immediately after that happened, fans just figured that it was a dominant win over a WWE veteran for Rhea's title reign, and how she'll move on to defend against someone else. But then, Natalya got a rematch on Raw against Rhea Ripley, which Rhea brutally attacked Natalya within moments again. But now on the June 26th edition of Raw, it was revealed that Natalya will be getting, yet again, a 3rd match against Rhea Ripley. So a lot of fans are very confused by this trilogy of squash matches between Rhea Ripley and Natalya. Obviously, it doesn't seem like Natalya has a real shot of dethroning Rhea Ripley, no matter how many rematches she gets. So the only likely explanation for Natalya getting so many rematches is that the 3 embarrassing losses will be used to push her character in a new direction. That's the only logical thing that makes sense for this real one-sided feud between Rhea and Natalya. But like we talked about a few weeks back, the belief is that Rhea Ripley will still have a very lengthy title reign that could extend all the way until WrestleMania 40. Another thing that WWE has been doing a lot over the last few months is teasing a lot of future feuds for Rhea Ripley. We saw them tease a feud with Bianca Belair, Raquel Rodriguez, and now they're once again teasing another big feud for Rhea Ripley down the line. This big feud being with Becky Lynch. This all went down on the June 26th edition of Raw. After a very impressive showing in the Women's Money in the Bank Summit, Becky Lynch approached Rhea Ripley backstage. Rhea warned Becky Lynch not to even think about cashing in on her if Becky did win the Money in the Bank contract. Becky Lynch then made some remarks similar to what the fans have been saying. Becky says that when she was champion, she was defending her title all the time in main event matches, but how Rhea doesn't defend it at all. Becky said that the title needs to be back in her hands instead of Rhea's, and how the title needs Becky Lynch. So again, this is now the 3rd time that WWE has teased a huge blockbuster feud for Rhea Ripley. But it's the date of when we'll actually see the match take place that's unknown. But Becky Lynch is right, and maybe her words will really leave an impact on Rhea Ripley. Rhea is supposed to be at the top of the women's division as its champion, and defending it against all the top contenders, not really working as a mouthpiece for Dominic Mysterio. So we'll have to see if Becky's words will affect Rhea's character, and if she will start to shift her focus on herself more than helping Dominic Mysterio and the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley won't defend her title at Money in the Bank, but we're to assume that she'll have a big title defense at SummerSlam. The Judgment Day's Finn Balor is also in the spotlight right now with his feud against Seth Rollins. When this feud first started a few weeks back, Finn Balor said that he had a lot on his mind that he's been thinking of nonstop for 7 years. Finn did briefly touch on some of those things during his interactions with Seth Rollins. But the video package from the June 26th edition of Raw perfectly painted the exact picture of what's been on Finn's mind. Finn brought us back to SummerSlam 2016, where he faced against Seth Rollins to determine the first ever Universal Champion. They showed the career-altering moment for Finn Balor, which of course was when Seth Rollins threw Finn into a barricade, instantly destroying Finn's shoulder. But like Finn pointed out in the video package, despite the torn shoulder, Finn was still able to defeat Seth Rollins. Finn says that the 2016 version of himself is long gone, and how the current version of himself is even more of a threat for Seth Rollins. Finn Balor even pointed out how Seth Rollins legitimately laughed in Finn's face that night after SummerSlam 2016, on Raw when Finn was in an arm sling. Finn said that everything he feels right now is because of Seth Rollins, and how he plans on all taking everything away from Seth because of what he did to him. So it's not that often when you can completely understand where the heel is coming from and how everything he's saying is actually pretty justified. And that's the case here with Finn's presentation and argument. Finn Balor lost a year of his career, had a 22-hour-long title reign, got laughed at, and it all circles back and points to Seth Rollins. And it definitely makes the story feel rich and deep to be bringing up and talking about moments that took place 7 years ago, and how they're so relevant to the current storyline. So that's a very cool element that this feud features. It's been a great story so far, and we'll have to see if Seth Rollins is able to survive this version of Finn Balor that's out for revenge. In Bloodline-related news, there's apparently 2 finishes being heavily discussed for the Civil War tag team match at Money in the Bank. WrestleVotes reports that there will be 2 drastic endings for the tag team match that have been discussed, but how everyone is split on the 2 outcomes. They even claim that the Usos and Solo Sikoa even went through a private run-through session of these outcomes last week. So as expected, the Bloodline tag team match looks like it will have an explosive finish that will push the story in a new direction. It seems like WWE has 2 outcomes that they really like, and we'll have to see which one they go with at Money in the Bank itself. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.